Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my great short stories series, we are on short story 39, Slog's Dad, by David Allman. You might have seen this online somewhere, or read about it, or may have read it in print form, I'm not sure how famous this is. But you might know Dave Allman from graphic novels. And in fact, in the story you'll see in just a minute, I've put one of the illustrations that you might recognize from one of his novels. We're going to be reading a short story, Slog's Dad, by writer and graphic novelist David Allman. And what can I tell you? Slog's Dad, written by this British writer, Dave Allman, tells the story of a boy, Slog, who one fine spring morning sees the figure of his father from across the town square. Since his father had already passed away before, this is going to be a very unusual day for Slog. More about the story in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. Tune in to the new words that we're going to learn. Use them as actively as you can so I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is all you need to know about me. Now, I want to know something about you. So come on in and let's read this story. What I'm going to do is can't do that yet. Give me a second and I'm going to share my screen with you. You have the link in the chat window already. And now, let's go to the top. There we go. So, you may have seen this illustration before from some of the graphic work. He has different illustrators illustrating stories that he's published. So this is one that you may have seen. What else can I tell you? Nothing. Come on in and let's read. What's great about this particular story is the dialogue. Because it comes from a graphic novel, it's sort of like a comic book. So a lot less description and a lot more dialogue. So one thing we could talk about is what kind of character you have based on the dialogue that you're going to read. Well, we'll get started in just a minute. First, let's say hello to Johnny. Hello, Johnny. How are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Where are you from, Johnny?
I'm from China.
China, a very big country.
Yeah, I'm living in New Zealand.
You're in New Zealand? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Very good. And what are you doing there? Are you studying? Are you working?
I'm working.
Okay, very good. Very good. And why New Zealand?
No particular reason, because that's why my parents told me to choose one country. Then I decided maybe New Zealand.
There you go.
Because yes, in the budget. Because if I go to UK or America, they will cost a lot more.
Oh, yeah? So it's a
Yes.
little bit more affordable. And probably I would imagine it's a very beautiful country.
It is.
I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Every time when I mention New Zealand, then the people will think of the Lord of the Ring.
Of course. Because in New Zealand you have dwarves and elves and magical beings. That's why they shot the movie there, right?
I didn't know that. I didn't know all of them are in New Zealand.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the island. You might not have seen them. They're there. Keep looking.
Okay. Okay.
Well, so in this class, we're going to be reading from a graphic novel. We're going to be reading the text, of course. And what I've done is prepare a few things to help you get maybe ready for some of the dialogue that you're going to read.
Okay.
It's not usually what I do, but I try to do something different every time. So this time I'm going to prepare you for some of the language that you're going to read about. So we're going to start by looking at the language, some things that you might, some cultural references that may come up as well, and then we'll see if we can read, I don't know if we can read the entire story, but maybe the first half, something like that. Okay? So,
Okay.
you can open this document by clicking on the link in the chat window, but I'll also share it on the screen. Okay? So, I've got a question here first. See if I can fix that a little bit. Before you read the story, you're going to encounter a few references. So look through that little list. Actually, maybe you should read through those from A to D and tell me, what associations do you have?
Okay. Okay. Can I have a question first, and then association? What's that mean in this question?
Association.
Is it something that related to or to the?
What word, idea, or experience do you associate with these four things? What do you think? What's another word to say associate in this context?
Is this something I can think of?
Exactly. Associate
Okay.
means to think of. So, what do you think of when you encounter those references? So, associate equals think of. I'll put that in the chat window too, so you can see it
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you think of? What associations do you have? What do you think of for the following?
All
So,
right.
anything
Uh,
familiar there?
so do I need to read from A to D?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Treasure Island. B. Faith of our fathers.
Mm-hmm.
C. Woodbines. D. Hail, glorious Saint Patrick.
Wow. So,
It's,
anything familiar
it's
there?
hard for me to pronounce the first one. I mean, the first words from D because hail. So it sounds like Hell.
No, no, because that would be hell. This is hail. Hail.
Hail,
Yeah,
hail. Okay, hail.
and you said it fine. It sounds okay.
Okay, yeah.
So, any associations? I only have associations from one of those four. For me, Treasure Island is very familiar because I know the story, I know the book. What about you? Do any of these things make you think of something? Do you have an association?
Um, so the faith of our fathers.
Yeah.
I would think of Godfathers. Is it the same?
The Godfather.
Yeah, the movie.
Wow. So why do you think it's connected? Because of
Because
yeah, go ahead.
because in that movie, I think the spirit of I think I can't say that word. It's something like they need to protect their family,
Right, right,
and they
right.
try to yeah something like that.
Could be. Okay. So, uh, what about St. Patrick? Surely you have an association for St. Patrick.
And Patrick's, as I know, that is kind of the festival.
Right.
Uh,
St.
yeah,
Patrick's Day.
yes.
So, uh, so what comes to mind when you think of St. Patrick?
Saint Patrick. Something very holy.
Very holy. Okay.
Yes.
I can tell you my association. My association is St. Patrick, if I remember right, uh, uh, was at least in the Irish mythology, was the one who um, led the snakes out of the island of Ireland. Like there was a story. I mean, I'm not Irish, so I don't know the story, but the mythology, if I remember right, is that St. Patrick did something, played a flute or something. I don't remember what it was, but he did something to take all the snakes off of the island to make it safe for the people. And
Okay.
so there's a kind of mythology about St. Patrick. But you have
So
to
are there
ask,
any snakes nowadays in Ireland?
right? Uh, so I have an association for that. Woodbines, no idea.
No idea.
Faith of Our Fathers. To me, it just sounds like a Catholic prayer. I'm not really sure. But you might be right. It might have something to do with being a godfather. That's also a Catholic thing, that you have godfathers and godmothers. And
Mm.
Treasure Island, for me, I know the book, the Stevenson book, but also the movie. I think it was directed by John Huston, and it starred Orson Welles as the what's the name of the main character. And I remember seeing that movie when I was a kid. Uh,
Robinson, Robin
uh,
Hood,
no, 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 Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. Um,
It was made into a movie, which I remember seeing as a kid. Uh, so, and it's about a boy witnessing the life of pirates. He's a young boy, and you,
yes,
you
yes,
see the story through his eyes, and he idolizes this pirate. And of course, they're looking for treasure on an island. It's Treasure Island, but he
okay.
witnesses. That's what I remember. But I read the book when I was a kid, and I saw the movie when I was a kid, so it's been a long time. Okay,
Is it the name of the movie the same as Treasure Island?
yeah, the name is Treasure Island. Yeah, same.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of versions of it. So, okay, we're going to come back to those and see how close we were.
Okay.
Second thing, imagine that you have overheard the following conversation. Uh, uh-oh, hope I have the right text here. Give me just a second. I think I have a little typo. No, I don't. Okay, good. Let's read through this little dialogue. Okay? You're
Okay.
going to take the first part, I'm going to take the second part. And afterwards, I want you to think about uh, what this could possibly mean. So I've got some questions for you afterwards in italics. Okay? So
Yes.
you go first.
The doctor said it's Nout, but staying in bed today, and he's going to hospital tomorrow. What's it mean, David?
How should I know, Slog? Man, away, Slogger man.
It's Elric. I know you didn't want to come too close. They tell us if I get to heaven, I will get them back again. What do you think of that, Davy?
Dunno, Mr. Mickey, Mr. Bickley. Dunno. Wow.
Okay.
I guess we need to change our accents to read that properly.
Okay. So I need to change to the American accent.
American? No, this is not American.
Oh, it's
Sounds
not American.
doesn't sound like it. The doctor says it's Nout, but he's staying in bed today. It
Oh,
sounds.
oh yeah. So it's Irish accent.
I don't know. Could be. We'll find out.
Okay. Okay.
But let's think about these questions. So, based on that little dialogue, imagine you overheard it. What can you say about the people talking? Which words in the dialogue have helped you? And then some specific questions. Are they rich? Are they well educated? How old are they? Where do you think they're from? Well, you think they're from Ireland, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. What else can you tell about the people based on that dialogue?
Hmm. The people use the old English word
Such as?
such as Nout,
Nout.
N-O-W-T.
Is that an old English word? Is that even a word? I've never heard it before.
It's the first time for me to just like hear this word.
I don't know if that's an old English word. I think an invented word. Let's find out. Maybe you're right.
Okay.
Maybe you're right. Let's see. Just out of curiosity. Does that exist? Nout. It's nout to do with me. Oh,
Oh, nothing.
maybe it's no, it's not now. It's not. Sorry, note,
Now
note.
to do with me. Oh, okay.
So you're kind of right. It does sound like an old way of saying nothing.
Yeah.
Uh, and look, we've got another clue because down here it says the new Georgie dictionary. You know what Georgies are?
Maybe a king in the old days.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see if Daniel knows. Daniel, do you know who the the Georgies are?
Georgie.
Yeah.
No.
Referring to the people as opposed to the dialect. Definition of a Georgie typically referred to as a native or inhabitant of Newcastle. Newcastle is a region of the UK, but you might know it because there's a reality TV show called
Ah,
Geordie
Georgie
Shore.
Shore.
Right.
Oh, oh yeah, George Shore. No.
So Newcastle. And let's see where it is. I don't know if I know people from Newcastle, but I don't know if I can imitate their accent. Let's see if I can pull out a little on the map. Let's make it a little bit bigger. It's a little bigger. Let's pull out a little bit. Newcastle. Trying to make it a little bigger. There we go. So there you can see it's kind of up there near Scotland, sort of. Let's see if we can put that in the middle. So they're probably not Irish.
Scottish? Oh, not
No,
yeah, United
not.
Kingdom.
They're close to Scotland. They're not that far, but no, it's still the UK. It's still English, but
Hmm.
maybe they have more to do, a little bit more to do with. Well, it's hard to say. Scotland is really up there. It's really way up there, actually. So,
Hmm.
but there's definitely a different culture. So something to think about. Maybe I've got some audio here. I didn't put the link, but I've got audio to share with you. So maybe you can actually hear the accent. But I don't have it now. I can do it in the next class. But what about these other points? Based on that dialogue, are they rich? Are they well educated? Are they old? Are they young? What's your impression, Johnny?
Um, uh, I, I, I don't think they are rich.
Okay. And what makes you think that? What's the clue in the dialogue? I agree with you, by the way. I think you're right.
Yeah. Because he answered, "How should I know?"
Uh-huh. And if they were rich, they would know the answer? Rich people
Uh,
always know the answer. Is that
yes,
it?
they already know they got the answer. Yeah, you got it right. They got the answer.
All right. Could be. Could be. I I also just look at the slang that they use. Slog, man. Oh, why? Slogger, man. I don't know. Just the way they're talking sounds kind of like slang street language a little bit. And
Oh,
it's not really, it's not the stereotype upper crusted, you know, top high class kind of received British we would expect. Doesn't sound like Queen's English. So maybe they're lower economic class. Are they young? Are they old?
hmm. How are they? Not quite sure.
Not quite sure. Okay, we'll find out. The only thing we know is that they're probably from Newcastle. Probably. Okay, one more thing for both of you, which is I've taken some words out of a piece of dialogue that you're going to read in a moment, and I want you to replace the words with a synonym. In other words, another word with similar meaning, or an explanation. And then it says put them in the right category. And then below that, I actually have some definitions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this exercise down because I don't want you to see this at the same time. You can go back to it later if you like. Move that down a page. And what I want you to do is just see if you can put in a synonym, because some of these words, they're very particular. Okay? There's no right or wrong answer at the moment. Actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to fix the text. There's a little bit of a mistake. Okay? So what I want you to do is, let's read through it once, you and Daniel. Read through it once, and then we're going to go back and see if we can simplify some of the language. Because what you'll find is, a lot of times, you understand what's being said, it's just that we're using kind of descriptive words rather than, informational kind of words. And it can confuse you. So sometimes you have to translate it and simplify it. All right? So, Daniel, Johnny, let's read through this little bit of dialogue, and then we'll go back and see if we can simplify the language a little bit. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
Who's first?
You.
Okay. So come here, he whispered.
I sealed my eyes.
Shielded
my eyes.
His hands resting on the top of the stick.
He raised his arm and waved.
Hey, I muttered.
I
Muttered.
like a pirate. I there. I captain. Like a sailor.
I, Captain. I muttered.
He nodded across the square.
I didn't mean to yell at him.
He touched my arm. How should I know? I said.
He tugged. Yeah.
He tugged my arm. How should I know? I said. I shrugged.
Shrugged. Tugged. Shrugged.
Tugged, shrugged.
Good.
Okay. Mrs. Mickley stroked her husband's head and gently kissed his cheek.
There you go. So these are some excerpts from the text. I want you to go back and see if you can simplify some of those. You're going to have to make an educated guess sometimes. Or, if you can't find a simpler word, just explain what it means. So, come here, he whispered. Well, that's easy, right? Whisper?
To talk loudly.
To talk low.
Low. To talk
Low or quiet?
lower.
Low or quiet? Because low.
Quiet.
Yeah, because if I say low, now I'm talking low, baby. It could mean the tone. So to talk quietly.
Quietly.
Not even talk. You're not even using your vocal cords. So you're not even really talking, actually. But yeah, that's the idea. Talk very quietly in whispers. You're talking like this without using your throat. And what about I shielded my eyes?
Blink.
What?
Blind.
I'm lost.
B-L-I-C-K?
B-L-I-N-K? Blink?
Oh, N-K. B-L-I-N-K, yeah.
Well, Daniel's saying blind, and you're saying what, Johnny?
Blink. B-L-I-N-K.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'll give you a little hint. You normally shield your eyes with your hand. So you might shield your eyes if the sun is really, really bright.
Covered.
To cover, exactly. To cover. That's it. His hands resting on top of the stick. What were his hands doing?
Resting. Relaxing.
Okay.
Hold.
Yeah. Holding tightly?
No.
Softly. Holding softly.
Yeah. And stick here probably means a cane. Like a walking stick. A cane. He raised his arms and waved. What did he do?
Say hello.
Say hello
Uh,
how? Did he talk?
No, we
No.
body language.
Body language.
move his arm, moving his arm.
Yeah, okay. So using his arm, he said hello, signaling, maybe signaling with his arm. So he waved. I muttered. What's another way to say I muttered? What do you think? You don't have to be very
Don't say,
specific.
don't say anything.
Muttered means don't say anything, but he did say something. He said I, meaning yes. I
Make
must.
make a noise
Ah,
with your
make a
mouth.
noise. Right. So
Oh, man,
muttered
what?
is mutters is like arr, arr,
Mm.
arr, arr, arr.
Oh,
Right.
mother.
Arr, arr, arr. Oi, arr, 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 arr. Mutter. To talk
Mother.
but not talk clearly. He nodded across the square. He
Watch,
nodded. Watched?
watch.
Eh, I don't think so.
No,
Johnny?
move your head.
Ah, right. So
Hmm.
signal with his head. Like he signaled with his hand, he waved. Signaled with his head, he nodded. Okay? I didn't mean to yell at him.
Scream.
Yell, scream, shout. He tugged my arm.
Hold up my arm.
Hold up? What do you mean hold up? Like I hold up a bank? I've got a gun, I'm going to hold up a bank?
Or lift. Lift.
Lift. Not lift.
No, okay.
A little child.
Grab,
Say again?
grab.
Grab. He
Oh,
grabbed
grab.
my arm. Not grab hard, though. Grab lightly. He grabbed my arm. He tugged at my arm. Okay? And I shrugged.
Move my shoulder.
Yeah. Signaled with my shoulder. Like,
Finger.
what am I saying? If I shrug, what am I saying?
No,
Let me
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. Right. Shrug is a signaling that you don't know, you don't understand, you've got no idea, something like that. Finally, Mrs. Mickley stroked her husband's head. What'd she do? She smack him?
Take.
Whack. Take? She took his head? She removed his head? Is she a surgeon?
Touch.
Touched, yeah. Touched how?
Mhm.
Touch gently.
Lovely.
Gently, yeah. Stroke, like you stroke your dog or your cat. To pet, to stroke. All right, not bad, not bad. I've actually got definitions over here, but they're a little bit messed up. I don't know if I can quickly, but you can try this. You can try this on your own, as maybe like a little homework, because it's a little. I gotta fix this later. It's a bit messed up, unfortunately. I'll fix it later after class. Anyway, so you can maybe try that again. But you basically got it right. So
Yes.
I'll fix that later and we'll go back to it. You can try it to review some of the vocabulary. All right. So let's see if we can match up our associations of those four things in the beginning. What Treasure Island means, Faith of the Father, Woodbines, Hail, Glorious St. Patrick. Let's see if we guessed right about the characters based on the little dialogue. And let's see in what way we're going to come back to that vocabulary. A lot of vocabulary about language, whisper, signal, wave, mutter. So let's see how that is going to play out in the story. All right. So, Johnny, you were the first here. Why don't you get us started?
Okay. Slog's Dead by David Almond. Spring had come. I'd been running round all day with Slog, and we were starving. We were crossing the square to Myers' pork shop. Slog stopped dead in his tracks. "What's up?" I said. He nodded across the square. "Look," he said. "Look at what?" "It's me, Dad," He whispered. You're
It's me,
Dad?
Dad. It's
It's
me,
me, Dad.
Dad.
Yeah, it's me, Dad. He whispered. You're Dad? I. I just looked at him. That broke there, he said. What broke where? Him's on the bench. Him with the cap on. Him with the stick. I shielded my eyes from the
I
sun with my
shielded.
hand.
I shielded.
Shielded. I shield my eyes from the
Nope.
sun.
Wait, wait. Two syllables. Shielded.
Shielded.
Good.
I I shielded my eyes from the sun with my hand and tried to see. The Brook had his hands resting on the top of the stick. He had his chin resting on his hand. His hair was long and tangled, and his clothes were tattered and worn, like he was poor, or like he'd been on a long journey. His face was in the shadow of the brim of his cap, but you could see that he was smiling.
So, what do you think about Slog and the narrator and the old man? What's your impression?
Slop is quite a positive young person,
Positive. Why? Why positive?
because
Positive means what? Happy? What do you mean?
happy bloke.
A happy bloke. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you say that?
For the you can see the last sentence. You could see that he was smiling.
But that's the old
On
man. That's the old man,
okay,
not Slog.
yeah, yeah. Sorry. So maybe he's a little bit laid back because he said I. He
Or,
mother.
or maybe he's just from Newcastle and that's how they say yes.
Oh,
Oi.
okay. Oi.
So it just means yes. But it's remember, English has dialects and there's different places you go where they have slightly different grammar and
Okay.
very different accents and sometimes very different vocabulary. So this is I don't know. I don't know if it's a dialect, but it's a slightly different kind of English. So I just means yes. Your dad? Yes. Your dad? Oi.
Oi. Oi. I. Yeah. But I can see that he's saying that it's me dad. It's me
It's
dad. My dad.
yeah. They don't say my.
They
It's
say
me
that me
dad.
dad. It's me dad. It's me dad. Yeah.
All right. And Daniel, would you add anything to that? What's your impression of Slog or the old man or the narrator based on just the very, very beginning?
So far, nothing special.
So far, nothing is special. Okay, let's find out, Daniel. Let's find out what happens. So, Daniel, why don't you pick it up from there?
Slugger, man, I said, your dad's dead. I
Dun
know
dun
that.
dun.
I know that, Davy. But it's him. He's come back again, like he said he would, in the spring. He raised his arm and waved. Dad! She shouted. Dad! The bloke waved back. She? Said Slot. Away. He took my arm. No.
He
Tug,
tugged.
tug, tug. He tugged my arm. No, I whispered. No. And I yanked myself free and I went into Myers, and Slog ran across the square to his dad. Slog's dad had been a big man, a skinny bloke with a greasy face and a greasy flat cap. He was always puffing,
Puffing, puffing.
puffing on a good vine. He hung on to the back on the big wagon as it lurched through the estate, jumped off and on, slung the bin over his shoulders. Mm, I can see the text.
Oh, oh, sorry. One second. I just have to put in a little definition here. One second. Oh! There's nothing. Can't find what I'm looking for. Never mind. I was going to give you a link to the definition, but I can't. Sorry. Go ahead.
Um, he hung on to the back of the beam wagon as it lurched through the state, jumped off and on, slung the beans over his shoulder, tipped the mug into the bag. He was forever singing hymns, Faith of our fathers, Hail glorious St. Patrick, stuff like that. Here he comes again, my man could say as he was the beans and belted out.
As he bashed the bins.
As he bashed the beans and belted out. Oh, sacred heart! At 8 o'clock on Thursday morning, but she'd be smiling, because everybody liked Slog's dad, Joe Mickley, Daft and Canny Soul.
What do you think a daft and canny soul is? Have you heard that before, daft?
No.
Daft and
Do you know it, Johnny?
no idea. Daft and Candy show. But I think Candy is it like candy, like that God is like do something evil, but with a beautiful heart, something like that.
Foolish.
Well, I got a definition there for daft. I just put the link. So daft is foolish. Daft.
Foolish, wacky.
Right? And let's see if we can do canny. What I'm showing you is what you can do with this text as well. Especially if you make a copy for yourself. Let me see if I can. I'm going to use vocabulary.com just because I like the way it's set up. And I put a link there. But let's take a quick look at the link as well. I'll open it up just this one time. Let's take a quick look. By the way, you can use any dictionary you want. I just chose this one because I like the way it's set up. And you've got click that for the pronunciation, canny. If you're a canny investor, you know how to spend money to make money. So what does canny mean here? What kind of person is he? A canny investor knows how to spend money to make money. So Joe Mickley is what kind of a person? If he's daft and canny, what is he?
Foolish and smart.
Foolish and smart. Yeah. Witty and clever.
Sometimes foolish, sometimes smart.
Right. And what's his job? What is a bin man?
Bin man. Throwing the rubbish into the bin.
Yeah. He's a trash collector. He's a trash collector who likes to sing what kind of songs?
Hymns.
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 So he's a trash collector who likes to sing church songs as he's running around the neighborhood picking up trash bins. Alright, so that's Slog's dad. I'm going to take this next little part. First sign of his illness was just a bit of a limp. Then Slog came to school one day and said, "Me dad's got a black spot on his big toenail." "Just like Treasure Island, eh?" I said. "What's it mean?" he said. I was going to say death and doom, but I said, whoops, he could. But I said, he could try asking the doctor. He has asked the doctor. Slog looked down. I could smell his dad on him, the scent of rotten rubbish that was always on him. They lived just down the street from us. Not from us, but from us, 2 words. Sorry. I have a few typos in here. They lived just down the street from us. The whole house had that smell in it, no matter how much Mrs. Mickley washed and scrubbed. Slog's dad knew it. He said it was the smell of the earth. Yeah, yeah, sure. He said there'd be naught like it in heaven. How would you feel growing up in Slog's house?
Disgusting.
dirty, smelled.
And I like his answer. It's the smell of the earth. Good hearty smell. The doctor says it's not, Slog said. But he's staying in bed today and he's going to hospital tomorrow. What's it mean, Davy? How should I know? I said. I shrugged. It's just a spot, man, Slog, I said. So what do you think? What's your impression? Now we have a little more information. So what's your impression now? Did Slog see his father in the park?
No.
What's your feeling?
Mm,
Honey? What's your feeling? What do you think's going on in that case? Nothing?
no, no idea.
All right, if you're not sure, let's find out. So Johnny, why don't you pick it up from there? Where was it? I lost
Everything,
my.
everything.
Yeah,
Up with the
there we
bed.
go.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So everything happened fast after that. They took the big toe off, then the foot, then the leg to halfway up the thigh. Slog said his mother reckoned he said had caught some germs from the bint. My mother said it was all the woodbine he puffed. Whatever it was, it seemed they stopped it. They fitted a tin leg on him and sent him home. It was the end of the bint, of course. He took to sitting on the little garden wall outside the house. Mrs. Mickley often sat with him, and they'd be smiling. Their roses and nattering and smiling and swinging tea and puffering woodbines. He used to show off his new leg to passers-by. "I will get the old one back when I am in heaven," he said. If anybody asked, was he looking for work, he'd laugh. "Work? I can hardly bloody walk."
I don't know what.
Bloody,
Blitty.
bleeding. Yeah. And he'd start on "Faith of Our Fathers," and everybody smiled.
I'm trying to see if I can get you a definition, but all of this language is slang, so I can't even get a definition for bidly. Oh, I can
In,
hardly bidly walk.
in my opinion, I think I can hardly bloody walk. Is it?
Blitty. Maybe, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Probably. Good.
So,
Okay.
and he start on "Faith of Our Fathers," and everybody smiled. Then he got a black spot on his other big toenail, and they took him away again, and they started chopping at his other leg, and Slot said it was like living in a horror picture. When Slog's dad came home next, he spent his days parked in a wheelchair in his garden. He didn't bother with his thin legs, just pajama bottoms folded over his stumps. He was quiet. He sat day after
Quieter.
quieter. He was quieter. He sat day after day in the summer sun among his roses, staring out at the pebble-dashed walls and the red roofs and the empty sky. The woodbines dangled in his fingers. Scarlet heart, thrifty gentle,
Secret.
sacred, sacred heart, thrifty gently from his lips. Mrs. Mickley brought him cups of tea. glasses of beer, woodbines. Once I stood with Man at the window and watched Mrs. Nickley stroke her husband's head and gently kiss his cheek. Oh, it's
Wow.
very hard.
Wow. So, what do we know about Mr. Mickley now? So what's happened?
Seems like a happy a couple.
Seems like a happy couple. Oh my God, he seems miserable to me.
Oh, okay.
The couple, maybe they're happy to be together, but he's having a pretty bad time. So, what's really going on? It's not said explicitly, but we're witnessing something. What are we witnessing about Slog's father in the past?
He got an injury on his toenail.
Is it an injury? It's a black spot, just like on Treasure Island. A black spot, like a spot on the map. Is it an injury?
No,
No. What is it, Daniel?
it's
What do you think it is?
the beginning of tumor,
Tumor? Yeah, or maybe cancer.
cancer. Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, how's he left?
In a wheelchair.
Because
He can use his leg.
does he have legs?
He didn't.
He
Border
did-
with
They
legs.
cut
They
cut.
They chop their legs.
yeah. The right word is amputated.
Amputated.
Amputated like this. In the
Latin
chat
word.
window. 1 second. Yep. Because it's a medical procedure, so we use Latin words with So and listen to the way I say this. He had his legs amputated. Amputated. He had his
Yes.
legs amputated like this.
He had his legs amputated.
That's called the causative form. When someone does something for you, someone does something to you, he did not cut his legs. He did not cut off his own legs. His legs were cut off. So when we have that someone does something for you, we say, I had my hair cut. He had his legs amputated. We had our car fixed. Someone is always doing something for you.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can also say get. He got his legs amputated. Have or get.
He got
Yep.
legs amputated.
So he had a black spot. They amputated. Then another one. They amputated again. And what does that do to his father? What does that do to his father in the end? Remember the guy that was singing church songs while he was picking up the garbage? Is he singing church songs now?
Yes.
He is? Oh, yeah, you're right. He'd start on Faith of Our Fathers and
Yeah.
everyone would smile. Then he... Oh, wait, hold on a second. No. Because then look. He'd start on Faith of Our Fathers, everyone would smile. Then he got the black spot on the other big toenail.
Mm-hmm.
So after he loses his second leg,
Mm-hmm.
he was quieter here.
Okay.
He sat day after day in the summer sun, and it seems like his wife just brings him beverages, and he kind of sits there. And what do you think a woodbine is? Now that we've read the story a little bit.
Woodbine.
A kind of tea, or
I don't think so. I think it's a pipe.
Huh?
I'm guessing. Let's see if I'm right. Cigarette. Oh, I thought it was a pipe.
Cigarette. Woodbine. Cigarette.
a brand of.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that they're pretty strong. I would imagine, because it sounds like it goes along with the whole situation that they're in. They're kind of poor. He doesn't have a great job. He keeps himself very happy and cheerful. He's kind of a traditional sort of guy, goes to church, sings songs, and they probably don't know how bad cigarettes are for you, so he smokes heavy cigarettes and he gets cancer. So, this is a fun story I wanted to share with you. A nice, cheerful story to start the day with. uh, okay, Daniel, take it away. We've got about 5 minutes.
She's telling him he's going to get better, said Mom. We saw the smile growing on Joe Merkley's face. That's love, said Mom, true love. Slog's dad still joked and called out to anybody passing by. Walk? He'd say. Mom, I cannot even bleedy hop. They can hack your body to 100 bits, he'd said. But
They can hack your body.
okay,
Hack is like cut up.
uh-huh. They can hack your body to 100 bits, he'd said, but they cannot hack your soul. We saw him shrinking. Slug told me he'd heard his mother whispering about his dad's fingers coming off. He told me about Mr. Mickley lifting his dad from the chair each night, laying him down, whispering her good nights, like he was a little Bern. Slug said that some nights, when he was really scared, he got into bed beside them. But it just makes it worse, he said. He cried. I'm bigger than me, Dad, Davy. I'm bigger than me, mm, bleeded dad. And he put his arms around me and put his head on my shoulder and cried. Slug, man, I said, as I tucked away. Away, Slugger, man. One day late in August, Slug's dad caught me looking. He waved me to him. I went.
You what?
Waved.
Waved.
Waved. He waved me to him. I went to him slowly. He winked. It's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. Ah, slam, no?
It's all right.
Like all right, but instead it's all right.
Okay,
It's all right.
It's all right, he whispered. I know you didn't want to come too close.
Who's he talking to here? Just so that's clear. Is he talking to Slog?
Mom,
Is he talking to Mom? Or is he talking to Davy? So who's the narrator of the story? Let's be clear about that. Who's the narrator? What's
the neighbor, the neighbor, no?
Davy.
Yeah, Davy. So the neighbor, right.
The neighbor.
And so, who does Slog's dad call over? It's Davy. It's Davy,
okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he calls him over. Let me just see how much time we have here. A second here. All right, let me just go down to maybe the bottom of that page. I'm just taking a look at how much we can do before the end of class. We have just a minute here. Okay, maybe we'll just do this little part here. So, he looked down to where his legs should be. They tell us if I get to heaven, I'll get them back, he said. What do you think of that, Davy? I shrugged. Don't know, Mr. McLean, I said. Do you reckon I'll be able to walk back here if I do get them back? Don't know, Mr. McLean. I started to back away. I'll walk straight out them pearly gates, he said. He laughed. I'll follow the smells. There's no smells in heaven. I'll follow the blitty. I'll follow the blitty smells right back here to lovely earth. He looked at me. What do you think of that? He said. Just a week later, the garden was empty. We saw Dr. Marley going in, then Father O'Mahony, and just as dusk was coming, Mr. Oh my God, Blenkinsop, Mr. Blenkinsop, the undertaker. The week after the funeral, I was heading out of the estate for school with Slog, and he told me, Dad, he said, he's coming back. That's probably a good place to stop. So, what happened in the beginning of the story, and what does that make you think about now? Go back to the beginning of the story. What's the first thing we found at the very beginning of the story? How does it open? What happened?
Slogstad was a very happy man.
In the very beginning of the story, does Slog see his father, in your opinion? Does the beginning happen before or after this part we just read?
After.
Yeah, a long time after. Months. So, who's the man in the park? I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm just curious. What do you think?
Someone looked like his father.
Yeah? So, you
One
think...
looks like his father.
And so you think Slog wants to see his dad so much that he just imagines that some stranger is his father? But then why is the man waving to him if it's not his father?
Maybe that man knows him.
So the man knows him, but Slog can't recognize that it's not his father? Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're about halfway through the story. We're going to stop here, and you can continue reading on your own, and on Thursday we'll talk about it. What do you think's going to happen next before we finish? So far we have a good setup. The first thing we find out is he sees his father. We find out that the father died. We find out a lot about the father's character. And the last thing we end up here in part 1 is the funeral. So we've kind of come full circle. I think we've got to find out more in the second half. We've got to sort of solve the mystery. So what do you think's going to happen next?
The father comes back from
For real? For real? And he's a zombie? And he tries to eat Slog's brain?
Maybe it's
Maybe.
I think his father is already dead.
Yeah. We know he's dead. We just read it.
Yes.
He had a funeral. So the father's dead.
Yeah, at the end of the story, maybe Slog die as well.
Why? Oh my God.
Because he loves his father. I don't know. Just guessing.
Okay, but what makes you think that in the text? Is there something that makes you think that? Or is that just a wild guess?
Just a wild guess.
A wild, crazy guess. All right.
Yes.
We've got to stop here. Think about the promise that the man made. I'm going to walk straight through the pearly gates. He just has to go to heaven and get back his legs. And I also wonder if the church songs that he's always singing has something to do with this idea of why he thinks he's going to come back. So we've got to decide if he's really coming back or not. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm with Daniel or Johnny on this. I'm not sure. Daniel says he's really going to come back. And Johnny, you say maybe he's not going to come back, and maybe instead Slogger's going to go to him. What a terrible story that would be. Hope not. All right. You can read to the end of the story. We'll talk about it on Thursday, and I've got some other things for you to do. I will fix the little exercise 4, to have you review the vocabulary words as well. I'm going to start the business class. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Stick around for the business skills part of Unit 13 on facts and figures, talking about facts and figures. Bye for now, everyone. See you
Bye bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.